Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds, the podcast that takes on issues and tries to hear both sides, and then we try to find common grounds between the two. So tonight we're going to be talking about money and corruption, including airplanes and spending. So this will be fun. We are uh, but I do have a question. We're going to be talking about a plane that was might get donated to be the Air Force One by Qatar,
hmm
and it just makes me wonder. I wonder if Air Force One has a bidet.
If it
And
comes from the Qataris, it will absolutely have a bidet.
yeah, but do
Yeah,
you think the
for
current
sure.
one does? The
I bet every seat on the plane has a built-in bidet.
You
That's
just
a lap of luxury right there.
clean up
Well,
luxury.
there's so much shit on those planes. You got to do something to clean it up.
Yeah, they don't have bathrooms. You just go right there. Yeah.
Lux
Oh,
bidet. Get yourself a Lux bidet. Sponsored by Air Force One, or they sponsor Air Force One? I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right. Sorry, Lux. That was our best attempt this time.
Yeah.
We'll do better next time. That was awkward.
I liked that one. That was good.
All right.
So, Ryan, you want to intro this one?
Yeah, in my ongoing pursuit to help Josh feel absolutely convinced that I've got this Trump derangement syndrome, which is not a real thing.
It's so real. It's so real.
The news dropped, I think it was yesterday, but I caught it this morning, I think in my news feed, that Qatar wants to gift President Trump a new airplane. Okay. And yeah, governments do give other leaders gifts occasionally, and sometimes they're worth a fair amount of money. Why this one I think is particularly interesting is Trump is planning on keeping it after he is no longer president. Okay. Um, that translates into a $400 million bribe from Qatar, because it will be part of the Trump Presidential Library. I don't know how you're gonna like. Is the library going to be on the plane, right? But what Trump has been very clear about is that he's going to keep it and he's going to use it for personal use once he's no longer president. He was very explicit about that. And of course, how I sent this to the two of you is please tell me how this is not just blatant corruption by the Qatari
You
government.
said
That
you
they're
said bribery. You said
bribery.
blatant bribery.
Sure. All right, we'll go with bribery. By the Qatari government, where they're basically currying favor with the current president of the United States. And this is probably, I don't know, the 10th different news story that I've sent you guys where I'm like, this looks like corruption and bribery to me. This looks like corruption and bribery to me. The Trump meme coin and the Melania meme coin, where people can just buy it and then they tell the president, hey, I just bought $10 million worth of your coin. And he just pockets the money. And now he's letting them come meet with him. If you spend $5 million, you can have a private meeting with Donald Trump. I mean, please tell me how this is just not straight up blatant
Well,
corruption and
well, what I
bribery.
really like is how consistent you were during the Biden administration when, Hunter was selling his paintings and, I
Okay,
mean,
but
you
Josh,
were, hey, can I talk? You were
no.
very consistent back then, sending out these little tweets to Tom and I, or these messages going, how is this not blatant corruption? Oh, wait, you never did that once. And then you're going to
Okay,
tell me
but
Trump
did
derangement
it,
syndrome isn't a real thing? You do
Josh?
this like once a week. You send out some random message to Tom and I going, Trump's so terrible.
No, no, I didn't say it was terrible. I just said it was corrupt. Can you just own that this is blatant corruption? And
No,
I'll own the other. If you want me to say that Hunter Biden was corrupt because he was making money off of his dad, fine, done. I'll own it. How is this not blatant
that's the first
corruption?
time you've owned it. Okay. Um, what
But
is
instead of oh,
what
what
is
about that?
I know. I prefaced that in my message to you.
I know you did, and I'm
What
not going to let you
aboutism?
get away with it.
Because I don't like whataboutism, right?
Okay,
It's silly. You should take the president and judge him on what he's doing, not on what the last guy that you didn't vote for is doing.
agreed.
Absolutely agree. Um,
Right.
the what it looks like to me, and again, I just glanced through the article you sent.
Okay, but it just Ryan, so you do own that, or no?
What, the Hunter Biden was playing off of his dad's credentials? Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm owning that.
Well,
Okay.
okay, playing off his dad's credentials, or that he was just blatantly selling crappy paintings, and people that wanted favor with Joe Biden were buying them.
Sure.
And
Yep.
Biden used all of his influence in Ukraine to get Hunter. See,
That's where it gets a little tricky.
I'll take what I can
Buddy
get.
Potter.
That's the first.
I'll take what
Well,
I can get.
the
That's the
paintings.
first time that you've
Josh,
admitted that there was some corruption there.
There's no way you can deny the paintings,
Right.
right? With Ukraine, it's muddier, it's trickier.
Not really.
I think it is. But with the paintings, if you look at the paintings, you know they're trash. And people were buying them
I'm taking
to
what I
curry
can
favor.
get. I'm going
So that
straight
is-
to the bank.
That is absolutely corruption.
That's the
I'm
first time
owning
you've
that.
admitted it. Okay.
You've never asked me about that one.
I
the
salute
plane.
you, Ryan. I
Yeah,
salute
good on you.
Thank
Good on you.
Okay.
So I'll give my take on the plane. I haven't researched it. From what it looks like to me, is Qatar is handing the United States and Trump a new plane. It's like 10 years old or whatever. Fancy plane. Okay. Because they look around the world and see that Trump is taking every other nation to task and doing the tariffs and stuff, which it's working. We should be talking about the China deal. So yeah, they're bribing the United States, going, this is a gesture of goodwill. We want to be friends. And of course, Trump being the person that he is, he's going to take it. Any president would probably have taken it. As you said, gifts of state are not an uncommon thing. They're less common now than they used to be. But have you ever played like the Civilization games, Civilization 6, the Sid Meier's? That's like one of the things that you did in the game is you send jewelry or a nice horse or something. Like this is a historical thing, right? So they're going to give
the Statue of Liberty like a gift to state. That was like right.
Essentially, yeah. France was
Kind
like,
of.
good job, guys. We don't like Britain.
No one cared
Good
to
job.
own that in their backyard, so they just like, okay, well, we'll put it in an island.
Essentially. So, yeah, why wouldn't Trump take it? Because this is a signal. This is a sign of his triumph of good international relations and diplomacy that he's winning. Because if it's an out-and-out bribe, like you said, what is Qatar getting? Like, did Trump just sell in Massachusetts? Is it Massachusetts for this Boeing? Is that like what are they getting if this is a bribe? This looks like a gesture of goodwill, so they don't get on his crap list, right? And
So that's what they're getting.
Yeah, that's like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with one country trying to curry good relations with another country like the United States?
Through bribery.
Isn't this what U.S. aid? Isn't that what U.S. aid was supposed to do? Go out and curry goodwill with other countries with our money, it's the same thing.
No. That is an apples to oranges comparison. So USAID was going out and saving the lives of impoverished people by feeding them. It wasn't giving a $400 million luxury jet to the president of a country.
And doing all sorts of other stuff. Don't shout out, but
that's
let's gloss
fine.
over that.
That's Josh.
Okay, but what was the point of
this
USAID?
is an apples to oranges comparison.
What was the point of USAID? You said this. You're the one that pointed it out on the podcast.
To curry international favor.
International favor.
Yep.
That's what the Qataris are doing with Trump, the man in charge.
But is Trump keeping the plane?
I don't know. That's the funny thing. That's
he is.
To me.
Well,
yes,
Ryan,
he absolutely is.
Okay. Let me say one last thing, then I'm going to turn to Tom. Okay. Trump has said all sorts of stuff, and he never does it. You guys still haven't caught on that he is trolling you. He just posted a picture of himself as the Pope, and he's been laughing about it because what did the left do? Well, he can't be the Pope. How dare he? You're like the only one on the left, right? So many people lost their minds.
I'm not religious, so I don't care.
Nobody on the left is, but they're all pissed off that he's
give them some
posting a picture of him being the Pope.
Okay,
he's
but
the ultimate troll.
Yeah, but you can't say that he just says stuff to troll people because all the stuff that he said he was going to do, he's actually now doing it, right? Yeah.
A few of the things, a lot of the stuff that he said, no.
I'm going to get rid of the Department of Education. Yeah,
he's
doing it.
Troll? That's something the right really wants. I've been pushing for that for 30 years. That's fantastic. Okay, sorry, Tom.
Tom, go.
Okay. So I want to be clear, Ryan. So I think I do you have an issue with because it seems like there's two parts. The Qatari government's got it's donating this plane to the US government, and then there's this possibility that Trump keeps it after his presidency and uses it for personal use, right?
So if it was just a possibility, okay. I'm literally reading ABC News's article on this, and it says the plane will then be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation no later
Yeah.
than January 1st, 2029, and
Yeah.
any cost relating to its transfer will be paid for by the U.S. Air Force. Trump gets the plane in 5 years. How is
Well,
that not a bribe to Donald Trump?
he
If it was a bribe to the US government to play nice with them, all right, still murky. I don't love it, but like, okay. It is straight up a $400 million bribe to the person,
so
not the government.
the article you sent says such a gift raises the possibility that Mr. Trump would have use of the plane even after his presidency ends. And like, so it's unclear, right? That
Mhm.
like that he's like it raises a possibility, but he's not said like I'm getting this plane, suckers,
Yeah, I'm
right?
gonna pimp it out. This
I
is why I find it preposterous. Sorry, Tom, are you done?
no, yeah, well, I guess the big thing I'm wondering is it the gift or you're of them giving it to the government? Is that like okay, I even have an issue with that. It's more just this part of it that
Yeah,
you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't think Qatar cares if he keeps it or not because they're just trying to. I mean, Trump's the government right now, right? So they're just trying to curry favor
Which is
so they
such a
don't get on the
problem.
crap list. And I agree. If he kept it, that's a very weird, odd look. But the reason I find it preposterous is that thing's huge. The Air Force One is a really big plane, so you can carry an entourage of 200 people with you wherever you go as the president. Do you know how expensive that would be for Trump to just jet set around on that
on
plane?
a giant plane.
That's insane. Why would he do that? Like he has
Because the
no
US
reason to
government
do
is going
that.
to pay for it.
No, it looked like they
Because
would
he's
pay
the
for the
former president.
transfer. They're going to pay for him
Uh,
to jet set around on that. I don't buy that for 1 second.
So Josh, you're doubting that he'll actually take control of it and use it.
I think he's trolling once again. Maybe he would take it and sell it or something, but I don't think he would even do that. He's not that bad of a guy where he would just be that corrupt. Ryan thinks he is. I don't. I don't
oh
see
my
him doing it.
gosh.
I just don't see him doing it.
He already has a Boeing 757-200 aircraft. That's his
Cool.
personal plane. So
Is
this
that
is not that's currently
this is
what he owns.
comparable?
Yes. It's a little
Yeah.
bit bigger. The new one's a little bit bigger.
Hmm. Yeah. It is unclear if he's like gonna actually if that's
Okay.
if it's gonna happen, what's gonna happen is actually what's being implied, right? I think maybe there's some inference, but it is weird that it's going to, I mean, I don't know what that means when it goes to a library, right? And like
Yeah,
does
I don't
Obama get to hang out in his library and like chill? Like, hey guys,
he
what's
can
up?
just walk into the White House in his room
I
anytime he
don't know.
wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so
So
let's do this then, right? So I will even say if the Qatari government was trying to curry favor with the US government, and to do that, they gave them a luxury plane to replace Air Force One.
yeah,
It's sketchy, but like, okay, I'd maybe be okay with this.
right.
Hypothetically speaking, and again, I'm reading multiple stories that are saying this is probably what's going to happen. But let's say hypothetically, Trump gets the plane.
Right.
Okay.
You guys are okay with this?
Not really. Like it's
No.
really weird.
I wouldn't be okay
I don't
with it.
like it. But
And we're not going to cross the line to corruption or bribery.
Right. That would be bribery for sure if he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting this plane, in 4 years.
well,
I
what
mean, I get it
exactly
now, but like, and then in 4 years it like becomes officially mine.
like what exactly is Qatar getting? Like that's what I would need to connect the dots. Like Trump gets a plane and Qatar gets Tallahassee, right? Like
No, and Qatar gets zero tariffs.
okay,
Right. Or
but a
just
lot
good
of
favor or just whatever,
yeah,
right?
okay.
As long as they get something. It
Right.
doesn't matter what they get.
It's
If they
like
get
just
something,
look out for us for 4 years.
yes, this
Yeah.
is a straight up bribe.
Right.
There's no
I
other way to frame this other than
I
this
would
is
agree.
a bribe.
I would agree. I would be so like if I was a
Thank you, Tom.
congressman, I would be opposed to. Well, I don't know what this means going to the library, but if it is everything that's being implied by some of these articles, I would be opposed to it.
Yes.
Is it really what's happening? I don't know because I know the media does take some liberties, so
That's a good way to put it. And I'm actually on the same boat. Like if Trump takes this plane and somehow finagles it so the United States taxpayer is on the hook for him flying it all over the world, not okay with that at all. That's bizarre. But the crazy thing here is once again the media and the left are bent out of shape about something that Trump might do in the future. And they're freaking out, going, "Whoa, he's so corrupt." He loves trolling you guys, and he's getting the right response because you're so mad about it. He hasn't even done it yet. If he does it, maybe let's talk in 4 years, and I'll excoriate him then, and we can talk. I'll call my congressman, say this is not cool. But you're so mad that
I'm upset that he's got a $400 million bribe, but don't do anything about it. It's totally cool.
Are you telling me he's the only president that's been bribed? Because we could go through every president and go through all of their crazy bribes. Like the Clinton Foundation, it was just a bribe foundation. That's all it was.
So this is more whataboutism, which you just said you don't like doing.
No,
can we just talk about Donald Trump?
But we can
accepting
prove the
a $400 million. We're proving it right now.
If he takes it, if he's just replacing the 50-year-old Air Force One and trolling the left, I love it. It's like a free move to replace Air Force One and troll the left. Okay, I love it. If he takes the plane, I hate it. That's simple.
but nothing's going to come of it.
I do gotta.
Okay, go ahead, Tom. Go.
Okay, because I actually did look this up beforehand, look exactly what Josh is talking about, and like in peak donations, Clinton Foundation in 2009, it reported 249 million in revenue. That was in 1 year. That's $250 million, and then by 2017, so that the year after the Obama was out of office, the Clinton Foundation's revenue had dropped by 26 million, it was a 90% decrease from its peak levels. And like, so it's like getting tons of money in office, out of office, and like donations like totally shut up.
You can directly track the donation to the Clinton Foundation and then a deal for the corporation that donated. Like it happens like 2 weeks later, over and over again. There's a Canadian company that donated a couple $1 million, and 2 weeks later, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, approved some pipeline up in Canada or something, right? Like it happened over and over again. Yeah, obvious bribes, obvious corruption. Is if Trump keeps the plane, and this is not Air Force One, and taxpayers are on the hook for it. Yeah, probably a bribe, but like, for what? Is it just good favor? I'm actually okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It actually does to me. It actually does, because if you have a corporation that's bribing the president to get some sweetheart deal, that's different to me than another country just going, you know what? Let's be friends. Let's not kill each other. I'm okay with state gifts. Like if we can keep the peace that way, that's cool.
You're saying if it's goodwill, then like that's not as harmful as like I need this specific deal done kind of thing.
Like why would we not want to be friends with countries? Like our relationship with Qatari is a little shaky because they have ties to Iran. It looks like they're trying to shore that up a little bit. So okay, cool. Like I just don't see a problem with countries as long as there's not something underhanded going on. If it's like a Qatari sheik is getting some sort of kickback or getting some sort of sweetheart deal, that's a much bigger problem to me than two countries just playing nice and sending gifts of state. That's not a foreign concept. It's a historical thing that goes back a long time.
You have these companies that like I did see an article about the number of like basically the Magnificent Seven, right? These tech companies that donated to the Trump the inauguration. Fund. Yeah, the inauguration, right? Yeah. And it's like it's a weird thing, right? It's like, oh, it's just an inauguration, but it's very specifically a Trump thing. So it's like we're giving this is for you, Trump. This is for you.
That's
right?
more problematic Because if those companies are like the ones that are getting the exemptions on the tariffs or something,
right,
that's problematic.
No,
That's bad.
It's not problematic. It's another bribe.
Yes,
Facebook
I
is
admit.
Facebook is currently under investigation by which group breaks up monopolies? SEC? Who investigates monopolies in the US?
so,
Is it
yeah.
SEC? Yeah, Facebook is under investigation. Google is under investigation, both of them for engaging in monopolistic practices.
Right.
And both of them are giving Donald Trump millions of dollars.
Well, they're not
hoping that these cases go away.
It's not giving it directly to him. It's giving to his inaugural fund, but
which is giving directly to him.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't even know what inauguration fund, right? Was for the party and now
it's for
over?
The party, but he gets to keep anything excess.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Is that
it's not, it's because it's not a political campaign. So political campaigns have very specific rules, but an inaugural fund, when the party's over, what happens to the money?
All the extra money.
Yeah, it goes into Donald Trump's pocket.
It's a straight up bribe to his campaign.
Everybody,
fund.
I'm pretty sure
this is a watershed moment. Ryan has just realized what American politics is. That's how it works. I don't like it. I've decried this system for years. The lobbyist system, I've decried it for years. I hate it. I mean, the lobbyist system is just open bribes. That's why all of the politicians go to Washington, D.C. with a couple $100,000 in the bank, and they all leave with a couple $100 million in the bank. All of them.
Million, but millions.
All right, I'm looking this up.
Please look it up, Tom. While you do, I've got another kind of hypothetical. Josh, what would it take for you to say that Donald Trump is taking bribes?
He probably is taking bribes.
No, but definitively. Definitively, you'd be like, yeah, that was a bribe. That was just that's corrupt bribe. He should be prosecuted for that.
I told you, with the plane, if Trump keeps it and we saw something actual tangible in exchange, obvious bribe. But I'm just seeing it's goodwill from one state to another. And since Trump is the government right now, he's the one that you're sending the gift to, right? When again, historically, you give the gift of state to the head of state, whoever that might be at the time. If they're a classy guy, they're going to leave it in the White House for posterity. If they're a douchebag,
it goes to the National Archives. Yeah, okay. It goes to the National Archives, or it goes to their presidential library.
Well, it might be hard to fit a jumbo jet in the National Archives.
Or you could just leave it with the government because it's a government gift, right? But Donald Trump's not planning on doing that. He's going to take it.
All right,
we'll see.
This is interesting. So you can. So most often the excess funds of an inauguration's excess funds will actually be charitable donations. Leftover funds are often donated. So Obama donated to a charitable fund. Biden donated to a charitable fund. COVID relief.
And what did Trump do with his?
No, listen. Civic projects and memorials, administration costs. You can retain some for some administration costs for some ongoing stuff. You cannot use it for personal use, and you can't use it for political campaigning. Which I thought it might go to. I thought it might go to his political. You could put it in your political fund, but you can't. And so that's actually really interesting. So they're actually trying to prevent what you want. Which is good.
A bribe.
This is good.
Yeah. So I'm sure Donald Trump does not have some charitable foundation like the Clinton Foundation.
Right.
Well, what is it then?
It too.
You're casting all these aspersions and making all these inferences. What's his charitable fund that is easily to track and see the graft as the Clinton Foundation? Point it out. You're making all of these. You're smearing him without any proof.
So I'm because
just that $400 million plane, but that's
because I'm actually didn't think that the money from these companies was going directly to Trump, right? But I looked at it as more of hey, Trump, we're with you.
Wink, wink. This is a straight up wink, wink. Yes.
No, and not a bribe, but we're with you. This is we like you, and please be thinking about us, right? And
it's a bribe. Can we just call it what it is? It's a bribe.
if he's not,
It's a salute, I would say.
yeah,
That's
if
what
he
it's
can't,
saying.
if he can't pocket it,
He
if
can't
he's
pocket
using
it, but it's like a nod. It's a nod to him. Is
A
what
wink, wink, nod, nod. This is not a bribe.
This is
Right.
American politics. What
This
is
is
new?
I'm
What is
I'm
new
agreeing
here?
with you, Josh. We're
It's
totally on
terrible.
the same page.
Okay.
This is not a bribe. This is totally a bribe. That's exactly what those donations were. They're currying favor from the current administration.
I
How is
don't.
that anything
I
other than-
wouldn't classify them as bribes. Like we're talking about the
legally,
inauguration thing.
yeah, legally, they are technically not bribes.
Right.
Practically, what are they?
Right. And I would say anything like this is offering lunch to a congressman, right? When from a lobbyist, right?
Yeah.
It's totally like this is allowed, it's legal, but and I'm not expecting anything,
Sure,
but like
this is just a
they're always-
$5,000 lunch, right?
Yeah, exactly. It might
but
include
I
a
don't
lap
want
dance,
anything. Yeah.
right?
Better.
For dessert.
Yeah. So I will agree with you. Technically and legally, not bribes.
Right.
Practically, every single one of these things is a bribe, right? And
Right.
There's
I
a
would
reason.
agree.
And to just like I'm going to don my Josh Cragen hat for a second, right? There's a reason why the media is pointing out that Facebook is giving these donations and Amazon is giving these donations and Google is giving these donations because the left, which Josh thinks all the media is on the left, right? They're casting aspersions on these companies and saying, look at what they're doing, not bribes, but they're totally bribes.
Mm-hmm.
The media is only pointing this out right now because they're donating to Trump.
Yes,
Of course.
I
they're
know.
on the
That's
left.
exactly what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
donning my Josh Cragen hat.
Okay.
Did I not do a good job?
Felt pretty good, didn't it? Should probably stay over here on the red side.
Like-
Put your red shirt on. Welcome to the club.
And the point Josh is making is that this is just business as usual, right? In Washington.
It's hard to disagree with that.
But
Right.
there should be some apparatus to monitor, like, oh, you got an obvious kickback for this donation. That's illegal. But if you're just donating because you're a right-leaning business and you want your guy on the right to win because you think he's better for business, okay, like I understand the reasoning behind that system, right? We have a free and open system that you're supposed to be able to use your money to promote your values. That's the idea behind the PACs and the lobbying, right? That's the idea. But when you're getting a clear and obvious kickback or loophole for your business, that should be legal. So if these guys are just donating, like the Koch brothers, they were billionaires that are very conservative, so they donate to all the conservative politicians. All right, if that's where you want to spend your money, if you're going to try to elect politicians that you think are better for small business or whatever, cool. But when you're getting obvious kickbacks, that's when the system falls apart.
And Josh, I think, would this be safe to say? I think most people would agree with that. And I think the laws are that, like, yeah, if there's a clear, like, tit for tat, right, a quid pro quo, then it is illegal.
But it doesn't get enforced.
Well, it might not get enforced, but we all know that, so they don't do it, right?
Yeah.
So they just say, I'm just giving, hey, here's $10 million for your reelection campaign, wink, wink, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Is like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not asking for anything in return, but if you want the gravy train to keep coming, right?
You better give me all those tax loopholes for my
Right.
dog
Totally.
neutering business. Like, yeah, absolutely. I think
'Cause
we're on the same page, essentially.
There
I
was
can give you a very explicit example that just happened. Sorry.
In
it's
Florida. I
politics.
guarantee it's Florida.
politics.
There we go. There we go.
Sorry. I read my local news.
frickin' DeSantis.
Yeah. So it was a Republican congressperson, Matt
Shocker.
Gates's dad, who's
Who?
actually Matt
Oh.
Gates. Matt Gates'
Yay.
dad.
He's a
right?
congressman?
Nepotism.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is how Matt Gates got into it, right? But Matt Gates' dad actually wanted to pass legislation restricting how much profit electricity companies in Florida can make. Okay. So, which already we're supposed to have regulation that like restricts this, right?
Right,
They have to ask
right.
for this because they have a
Can't
monopoly,
gouge a
right?
customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they wanted to crack down on this because right now they're getting away with basically murder in what they're doing. And turns out the lobbyist for the electricity companies just immediately showed up. And I loved the news reporting on this, right? They went to Matt Gates' dad. It's like Don Gates or something like that. They went to him and they're like,
tell me the power at his house was off, please.
that would have been awesome. No,
Right.
he said as soon as the lobbyist showed up, that bill was dead, 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 dead. That was a direct quote in the paper. He just kept reiterating it was dead, dead.
Don Gates was saying this.
He's like, as soon as the lobbyists showed up, they were throwing money left and right. They wiped this bill clean.
Yeah.
No one was going to touch it. I couldn't
had
get
a
it.
sudden change of heart.
Everybody did.
Right.
Boom.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they were throwing so much money at this bill that it's like, touch it. And
I hate that. Absolutely hate that. And it constantly happens. I was just talking to Ryan and I's sister and brother-in-law, Mario and Wendy. They're building an add-on on the house, and they've been waiting for 3 weeks for the power company to come hook up a panel or something. And he's like, I can't figure out what the problem is. I'm like, the problem is they're a monopoly. They don't care. What incentive do they have to show up on time and help you out? They don't care. They're the only people that provide power. You're screwed. You're at their whim.
Mercy.
You're at their mercy. Thank you. So yeah, I hate that. I've always hated the lobby system. I hate how rich our politicians get off of it. So to bring it full circle, is Trump taking bribes? I guess it depends on how you define the word bribery when it comes to politics, but yeah, like that's the game. Welcome to American politics. He just got a sweet new ride.
I think we found common ground. Yay.
Yeah. Yes.
Dang it.
Pretty good. All right.
No, Trump has never taken a bribe in his life.
Oh my gosh.
I just had to be contrary.
Well, let's
next topic.
Let's do it.
That was good. That was good.
All right. Tom, Josh, who's going to introduce this one?
Yeah, Josh, why don't you introduce this?
I don't even know anything about it. So
all right, I can talk about it.
Well, just to tell everybody, like Ryan threw out his article about Trump today, and I was like, let's do a podcast. This would be a fun one to talk about. And Don Juan, our moderator here, he was like, let's do it tonight. And we need another topic. And I was like, well, I saw a headline, but I didn't actually read the article. I don't know if it holds any water, but the headline was, in the last days of the Biden administration, like when he realized he wasn't going to be nominated, he started like blowing money on everything was the headline. And then I didn't even read the article. So I wanted to talk about that, but I don't know much about it. I didn't have time to read it. So Tom, explain.
Yes. So basically, Joe Biden unleashed in the final months of his presidency huge and unproductive. This is like a biased. It's an opinion thing, right?
This is the New York Post, which is a tabloid.
So you said you only saw it there, but I saw the same headline on 3 different places. I'm sure they're all right-leaning places, but
yes.
Okay.
Right.
And we will come back to I did do some digging, so I can give you a little bit of fuel for this, but we can talk about it.
I know you're going to rebut some of this. So so like the numbers anywhere between 250 billion to 300 billion, depending on how you measure and classify the large S. Yeah. But they broke it down here. I'm trying to find what some of the stuff is. And they did it in an interesting way. They were issuing a lot of short-term bills because they didn't want to blow up the 30-year bond market, which would cause a lot of issues. So kind of like a weird way to get a bunch of money is to do like these short-term, like 2-year and less bills. But where is it? Okay, talk about it because they talk. What did they spend on? And like the idea was like try to get the economy looking good and try to just make things look good at that final months before the election, right, to help Kamala. And but it was just I'm trying to figure out exactly what they spend on. I'm not seeing it, what the items are, but they did talk about some things. But
in that New York Post article, they didn't say what they spent it on. That was the thing. They were just like, they did some loan stuff and they did this and they did that. But it was really, really vague. And that's why I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. So I did some additional digging.
Yeah, they don't.
I was the one who I have some specifics if you want to know exactly what they did.
From where? Because I'm reading another article right now that said it was like 1.3 1.4 trillion.
Yeah, no, it wasn't 1.4
he
trillion.
he added up to 1.4 trillion to the deficit. Biden did. Is what
Well,
this one's
but
saying.
I mean, every president since Clinton has added to the deficit. So,
Right.
like, that's pointless, right? So to claim that Biden added more to the
He was the
deficit than
worst
somebody
ever.
else, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because of inflation, right? But no, my sources are Politico and AP News, right? So Politico said in late 2024, the Biden administration rapidly allocated $20 billion from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund to 8 nonprofit coalitions, and it intentionally transferred the money out of government bank accounts to those coalitions, those nonprofit coalitions bank accounts, so the
Mm-hmm.
Trump administration couldn't claw it back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So New York Post is saying 250 to 300 billion dollars. It looks like it was about 20 billion for that. And then they also transferred $2.5 billion to Ukraine in the last months of Biden's presidency. So the total that I'm coming up with is somewhere around 22 to 25 billion, which means that New York Post article is off by a factor of 10.
Right. Yeah, I would like for them to say what it was, because there might be
Yes.
something else they're including that the AP is not including. But yeah, I don't know. So we won't know.
Don't you love American media? Some people are like, "Oh, he was very fiscally responsible," and we're like, "No, he spent $4 trillion." And these are all the news stories that we're trying to decipher. How the freak are we supposed to know? Like that. That maybe more than anything is what frustrates me because I don't know how much he spent. It looks like, I mean, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. It looks like he went on a spending spree at the end of his presidency and started throwing money wherever he wanted. But where did it go? How much did he spend? It
Well,
looks like he spent quite a bit. Like $22 billion is $22 billion.
Chump change, Josh. Come on,
did
you've got that in your couch.
did he do any of
Wow.
this?
No, it's
Huh?
probably Jill. It was probably Jill and Hunter. Well, of course it wasn't him. He was
It
Right.
went
crapping his
to
pants on a
the
beach somewhere.
20 billion went to the Art Appreciation Fund, the Hunter
The
Biden.
Hunter Biden Art Appreciation Fund. Now that would have been hilarious, and I would have admitted that was corruption. I would have called that corruption. But that is
Well,
actually really, really funny. I think
well,
that's
and I think they bought a new jet from Qatar, and it was
oh, they
loaded with
bought it.
yeah, but it was loaded with cocaine for
Nice.
Hunter. Yeah,
But it was only $20 billion? They
worth
got
of
that
jets and
cheap.
cocaine.
Oh, okay. Just the cocaine.
Oh,
Gotcha.
cocaine.
Yeah, I would have called that a bribe. I would have called that corruption. So what's your bigger point? The bigger point is Biden spent some money.
Well, I saw that headline, and the
Yeah,
headline said he like within the last
few months, right?
like 2 months or something, he spent a couple $100 billion just throwing it at left wing PACs and crap like that, just throwing it out there for his cronies and not so
Yeah.
so Trump couldn't have it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if there was better evidence, like I would certainly be willing to consider it. I couldn't find much other than he wanted to do some stuff for the environment and for Ukraine. And if that's the worst that he did, like I'm not going to freak out about that. And don't get me wrong, I was joking about $22 billion not being much money, right? Obviously that's lots and lots of money. I'm not trying to make light of that. Relative to our actual budget, right, of $7 trillion dollars. I mean, this is not massive amounts of money. Still, I don't love them spending money willy-nilly. I mean, that's a lot of money. But yeah, $20 billion in his last couple of months. That's a drop in the bucket. I'm not going to freak out about this, especially if that's what he was sending it to. Again, if he had given $20 billion to the Hunter Biden Art Appreciation Fund, we would have big issues. We would have big issues. And I would say put them all in jail. I would say put them in jail.
We don't know where the money went.
Put them in jail.
I agree, Ryan, in that every president has just spent more than the last one, and no one seems to be taking everyone's on a spending spree, essentially, from a certain perspective, right? And outspending the previous president, and no one seems to take the budget and these, like, what is becoming a very serious issue. No one's taking it serious.
Deficit. Yeah.
And I know we've hammered this out before, but it's like Doge is the first time that any president's actually like acknowledged and carried an initiative and actually taken action. And like I'm super happy that like
Love it.
that it's even being tried, right?
Yeah. And I get Ryan's rebuttal is always, well, it's a drop in the bucket what they found. I don't even care. At least they're finding something. At least they're trying to fix
Right.
what
They're
will
trying.
we'll our country. We've all agreed on this.
I
This
know.
is going to doom the country. At least they're
Yes.
doing something.
Okay, but they're you both realize that the budget that they're trying to pass is going to make the deficit even bigger.
Right.
So we can say
I'm unhappy
Doge is
about that.
doing something, right? They're
Right.
moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. They're
Right.
literally doing nothing because they're turning around and they're trying to increase spending on the military while they're gutting Medicaid. That
Yeah.
just came out today, right?
They should have put it in the Hunter Biden Art Appreciation Fund.
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you really want to do something about this, there are clear solutions that you can
Okay,
take.
let's talk about that. There's not though, because the
Sure
clear
there are.
solution is killing Medicare and Medicaid and these
Can't do that.
all these. Well, that's the
No.
problem.
Can't
That's
do
the
that.
problem.
No.
You can't do that.
Nope.
What's the other solution? Gut the military?
No.
No.
I am convinced more than ever before that we can have all the services we want and at the price and let at a balanced budget amount, like, and get everything we want. There's just so
How?
much because waste and fraud. I think it's from some of the many stories I've heard and all the NGOs that are created to get money for this and that. It looks like we're just having a big party in DC. And every senator's wife is creating an NGO to get some funding for this or that.
I don't doubt that for a second. But do you think that would actually balance the budget, even with all of the social programs?
What? No, I mean, I'm
he's just saying cut
can-
out government inefficiency and waste, and we can
Yeah.
still keep everything.
we could
which is
keep
why
everything we want.
which is why I would say Tommy 2028.
Done.
Yeah.
Deal.
Tommy 2028, your job is to actually cut out all the government inefficiency and waste. Now, let's just hypothetically, right? Let's say that the government was running at 100% efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all agreeing that it's not, but hypothetically, let's say they are. Okay.
It's at like 2%, and I'm pretty happy
It's
about
fine.
that.
I know.
Probably true.
Let's say they are, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
If they were running at 100% in efficiency
Yes.
and we still had a deficit,
Yes.
you really only have two options, right? I mean, I think this is
cut-
pretty basic math.
Raise taxes, cut social programs.
Those are the two options. You either
Right.
cut spending or you increase revenue. This is basic math that any corporation has to deal with. Any person has to deal with, right? If you're living on your own and you've got a budget and you're spending more than you're bringing in, you have two choices,
Yeah.
right? It's cut spending or get more money.
Yeah.
Those are the two choices.
Become a politician.
Okay, become corrupt. Like, fine.
Yeah.
So let's just say that those are the
Yeah,
two
we're all
choices,
on
right?
board. I agree. Yes.
So let's say we do get
For layman,
Tommy.
that for the regular people, that's your wife gets an OnlyFans account. That's the corruption. But
I got one, and it's not working out.
not
Like,
doing it.
So let's say Tommy 2028, Tommy takes over, cuts out all the inefficiencies, and we're still running a deficit of $1 trillion instead of 2 or 3, right?
Mhm.
What do we do, folks?
Right. We would, but I'm convinced we can absolutely do it.
Yeah, like if you cut out all the inefficiency and all the people that
Yeah.
shouldn't be getting Social Security and or not, yeah, like all the graft and corruption there, you probably would trim the budget right down. I think.
And the way I look at it is, you look at Boeing versus SpaceX, right?
Yeah.
And you look at
Good
results and
comparison.
budgets, and the blown up budget of Boeing and the budgets that SpaceX has, and how much it can do with its budget. That's much less than Boeing,
Yeah.
and how little Boeing can do with the budget they've got that's incredibly bloated. and they're overscheduled and behind, and they basically the only thing they can do is strand astronauts at the space station. And we can.
But they got him there, Tom.
They
How
got
dare
him
you?
there.
Get
Yeah,
him
and
home.
I love the article. They basically
Awesome
something
comparison.
happened on the way up, and then they were like,
Yeah.
"So do you guys want to ride that thing back?" And they're
No.
like, "No."
several of the thrusters malfunctioned. That's a
Yes.
minor
I'm sure
issue.
like them riding like, what was that? That was not good. And it was
That's
like,
not good.
okay, so we can have you back in 5 days on the Boeing Express or 7 months on space. And they're like, we'll wait 7 months.
Except Elon called and he's like, I'll get him out of there in a week. And Biden wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's true. It's true.
Okay, but let's just just to play devil's advocate.
And I'm just gonna say that Boeing, SpaceX, and then you have the government, which is much worse, right? It's even less efficient, right? And so that I'm convinced. But
I love your comparison.
Well, but let me throw in an Airbus, right? So Airbus is a French company, and they're not way behind in their delivery of orders, and that's France, right? Where I'm not going to say they're less corrupt. I'm not going to say that they don't have as much bureaucracy, right? But for some reason, they seem to be running fairly efficiently, and they're delivering good planes that everybody wants to buy, and they're killing it, right? So it's not that you have to be lean and break things, right, in like a Silicon Valley mindset to actually run an efficient company. There are plenty of companies around the world that do a pretty good job at this. Boeing, I think, is quite problematic. I think we've all recognized that, right? And they're getting hammered for it. Okay, so really all of it, I don't even want to bring it up, right? We should just have like a constitutional amendment that says the federal government has to balance its budget. Like, I think we all
budget amendment. Yep.
Yeah,
we should do
it's a no-brainer. It really is.
We've been griping about for years, right?
I know.
And I will say, it makes me upset that we're about to pass a budget that's just doing the same thing that we did before. And I feel like actually Trump has enough power right now. He could actually push for something like this and maybe even get it done, right? Maybe not. But and I'd be like, I would think that most Democrats would be like, yeah, okay, I'm actually for that one, right?
But they won't, because he's doing it. It's weird. But I'm holding out hope that he's going to do that kind of stuff at the end of his term, because a lot of that won't be popular. Because the gravy train's going to why is Boeing so corrupt? Because it's been suckling at the bloated teat of the government for so long, and you try to get rid of the contracts for these huge mega corporations that have all the ties to the government. Ryan just talked about this with the power company, and that power company has nowhere near the pull as Boeing, right? So as soon as you try to cut off Boeing and not give them the contracts, what's happening at the government? All of their lobbyists are saying, oh, you want the gravy train to stop, huh? So it's this vicious cycle. That's why these companies are so inefficient and bloated. They're not competing. They don't have to compete. The government doesn't have to compete. It doesn't have to balance its budget. That's why the government should be as limited. That's why I hate what Bernie represents, right? Because the government should be as involved as little as possible in every aspect of life, because it doesn't have to compete with. It doesn't have to balance its budget. SpaceX has to balance its budget, right? So it's going to be lean and mean.
Yeah, but something like 44, 46 states have passed amendments, or at least laws, saying that they have to have balanced budgets. So states have clearly figured this out, right?
Yeah, right?
And part of that was actually, which is ironic, right, was the federal government getting fed up with bailing states out when they had massive deficits and debt, and they actually went bankrupt, right? And the federal government's like, no, can't do this anymore. We're not okay with that.
Yeah.
You have
to
pass
bullcrap.
Yeah, you have
Illinois
legislation to do this, right?
We want to steal that money. We're not giving it to the states.
So most of our states actually have to have balanced budgets. I mean, I don't even know why we're fighting over this, because we all agree the federal government should just have a balanced budget amendment. End of story. And then, okay, if you don't have the money
print
for
more
it,
money. It's fine. Just print more money.
So what's our big issue here? This is all supposed to be about Biden spending more money. Whatever. I don't care. We're so off that topic because we didn't have any data to support it anyway.
Yeah, we didn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about? Should we go back to Tom's dating life?
I wanted to throw this out there. We didn't prepare this topic. Are you guys okay if I go off on a completely different
Wing it.
tangent?
Yeah, wing it.
This the immigrant that was the gang member that got deported. What was his name? Valmar Garcia or something like that.
Abrego Garcia. I'll look it up.
That guy.
Yeah,
Abrego Garcia. Like when that kicked off and the left was so mad that Trump deported this guy, and it was clear he was a gang member, right? He has MS-13 tattooed on his hands. I saw a picture of that.
That's a doctored photo. That is 100% a doctored photo. So just to be clear, yes, all of the news media, left and right, have all agreed. And actually, Fox News confronted Trump about this. Fox News confronted him and said, that is a doctored photo. And Trump was like, no, it's not. No, that's real. And they're like, no, it's a doctored photo. Fox News did that. He is not a gang member. There is no evidence that he is a gang member. Just to be clear, there is
none.
None. He is not a gang member.
I haven't seen that, actually.
Nope, none. There is zero evidence he's a gang member. They deported somebody who was actually here because he was worried that he would be killed if he was sent back there because the gangs were after him. He's not a gang member. So,
why would the gangs be after him if he's not a gang member? Because there was
he's an anti-gang member
because he probably opposed them. I actually have
Guatemala.
I forget where it was. It might have actually been El Salvador.
El Salvador. That's where they have the huge
that's where they're
prison,
sending them. Yes.
And they just locked all those guys up, right? I watched this really cool, interesting documentary about that because there's the two gangs that were murdering everybody, right? It was the most dangerous country on the planet. They were murdering everybody. Like 1 in 1,000 people was getting murdered. Like it was crazy.
That's why he left.
Okay, but why are they after him if he's not?
Can I give? It's not there, right? It's from Ecuador, right? We had a student at my university. I'm not going to name names. We had a student at my university. He came up. His parents owned a hotel in Ecuador. Okay. He came up to my university to study, got his undergrad degree, and then stayed to get his MBA. He gets his MBA. He goes back to take over the hotel business. He's home for 6 months when a gang shows up in his hotel and says, you're going to pay us money or we're going to kill you.
Yeah, that happens in Ecuador. I have renters in my apartment right now. Yeah. That same thing happened to.
Okay. So
gang showed up at their house that's been in the family for 100 years. Same thing. Pay us money or we're going to kill your kids. Right. They had to pack their bags
Yeah. So he's not a member of the gang. He's just a business owner who was not willing to pay them money. So he came back to the US. He ran for his life. I think it's a similar situation with Juan Garcia Abrego. He was not involved in the gangs. He's out. I think do we have the right name? Hold on. Let me make sure we've got the right name.
No, it wasn't Juan Garcia.
No, I've got the wrong name. Sorry. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That's his name. That's the name. Yeah. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Yeah. Anyway, what else did you want to say about it? You were going to make some point about this.
So, well, I should probably do a little more research on him. I heard the headline. It looked like he was a gang member. At the very least, he was beating up his wife. He had a criminal record and stuff. And the left got all bent out of shape that he got deported. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I had this weird realization that the left keeps defending these really weird, bad dudes like George Floyd. He was a bad dude. He threatened a pregnant lady that he was going to kill her, and he was like a robber and stuff. And he probably died because he was on drugs. And then Trayvon Martin, he was a punk kid that assaulted the white Hispanic, and he got shot, right? And the left just keeps defending.
That's not what happened with that one.
No,
the guy was walking around his neighborhood with a gun, pretending to be the police, and he went after Trayvon Martin.
I'm pretty sure that was debunked. I'm pretty sure what I heard was Trayvon Martin, he confronted Trayvon because he looked suspicious, and Trayvon assolted him.
Yeah, he looked suspicious because he was a black kid wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, I think he was an overzealous guard, but
yes.
Trayvon attacked him at some point, and
no, the guy tried to do a citizen's arrest, and Trayvon refused to accept it. He totally did.
He confronted him, and then Trayvon, that's what I've heard. Reading several accounts, and Zimmerman's account, I think that was the guy's name. He said George he confronted him because he looked suspicious, walking around in a hoodie, smoking his marijuana or whatever, and then the kid assaulted him. And
Okay.
the crazy one that popped up was this Carmelo Anthony, this kid that stabbed the black kid stabbed this white kid at a track meet because the white kid confronted him. Right? He's like, "Why are you in this tent?" And the black kid stabbed him to death. And then he got like millions of dollars in donations, and his family's living in some fancy gated community now. Like he admitted that he stabbed this guy to death. And I'm just trying to figure out, why does the left feel this crazy need to defend like obvious criminals?
But
And
they're not. Like this is really problematic. This is right-wing media framing these people as criminals.
and
Abrego
left wing
Garcia's
media framing them as heroes. Like, is George
no, no,
Floyd a
no.
hero?
They're not
They
saying that Abrego Garcia is a hero. This is literally what his attorneys and family are saying. He has a clean criminal record in both the US and El Salvador. He's never been convicted of anything, ever. And he was deported because he looks
Are you
like a
sure
gang
about
member.
that? I've heard from multiple sources that he had
Check it, Josh. He's
yeah, I'm
never
looking
done
right now.
anything. He has a perfectly clean criminal record.
Hmm.
He
I
hasn't
don't
done
know anything
anything.
about this one.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's the
I've
one that's
seen
been in the news a
I've
ton.
seen the articles, you're right, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Um,
Yeah, I heard on at least 3 different sources that he was a member of the gang and that he was
Nope.
convicted of beating up his wife.
Nope.
But
Check your
again,
sources. That none
well,
of that is true.
again,
It's just not
I
true.
don't know, I don't know much about him. This is just what I heard.
Right.
But I mean, we do know about George Floyd. He was a piece of crap. We do know about this Carmelo Anthony kid because that happened about the same time as this. He stabbed a kid to death, and then people on the left donated a whole bunch of money to defend him because he's black.
Mm.
And like that's what they said. They're like, he's being picked on because he's black. Like he just stabbed another kid to death. Why did he have the knife at a track meet? And he's being held up as a hero.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Like I
sure
don't
there are going to be some of
understand
those,
this.
but certainly Trayvon Martin was not doing anything wrong. He went to 7-Eleven to buy Skittles, right? He wasn't even smoking weed. He was doing nothing wrong except walking through a neighborhood wearing a hoodie. And he
right,
was confronted by
right.
George Zimmerman.
I think you're completely right, Ryan, in that he probably wasn't doing anything wrong. Maybe he was smoking weed or whatever, but like nothing that probably
Yeah.
justified it. How he reacted, right, may have been inappropriate, right? I'm sure Zimmerman was pushing him,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
accusing him of something, and this gets to that weird stuff where like if the if the black guy would just comply with the officer's request, then there wouldn't be a problem, right? And like that argument of like, but they wouldn't comply because they hadn't done anything wrong, and then there's some big blow up, and someone
Right.
gets, the black person gets
Yeah.
killed, and it's like the black person not complying is not good, but yeah, but this is the 10th time it's happened this year, and they're getting sick of it, right? And like I
Mhm.
get that other side of it, but like yeah, like it's tragic in both
Well, I
ways.
Well,
mean, the
it's
Trayvon Martin one is not just tragic. Why would he comply to some random dude who's like, "Hey, stop," right?
well, and
If
then
you're walking down the street and some random dude's like, "You look suspicious," stop, right? If they don't have a
okay,
police
fair
badge, if they don't
fair
have
enough.
police uniform, you're going to tell
Well,
them to go fuck themselves and you're going to keep walking. Like, why would
Well,
you
he
stop to
attacked
some
him,
random person?
and then
He
this is
did
why it's so
not.
weird to
There's
me.
no evidence that he attacked George Zimmerman.
Well, that's
George
what Zimmerman
Zimmerman,
said.
yeah, that's what
well,
George
I
Zimmerman
don't
said
think
when he
Zimmerman just
shot the
shot
kid.
him.
Yeah.
Well, he
Okay,
confronted him, and we
and then
don't
the
know
media.
exactly.
Okay, so I'm trying to just do a general picture. I'm trying to understand this crazy disconnect between the left and right and how the media is portraying this. Because even with the Zimmerman one, the media immediately said he's a white Latino that killed this kid, and you're like, what the frick's a white Latino? Is he Latino? Yes, he was Latino, but they were so desperate to frame it as white on black crime, right? Um, and then
Right,
You
right.
can be white and Latino. Latino is an
But the fact that
ethnicity.
they
But he
White is a
managed to
wasn't.
say
race.
that,
Yeah, immediately
That
he's
doesn't
a
really
white
matter.
Latino.
It's
well,
fine, right? Moving on. What's your point?
Josh, I'll
I'm
take a stab at this.
yeah, please.
So I would slightly change this in this narrative in that I've been thinking about this for a while of like that the left has a a way of honoring or like lifting the victims, like the victim groups. It's women, blacks, illegal immigrants, right? These groups they become virtuous or right by virtue of them being associated with these groups. And like Ukraine is correct because they're the victim from Russia. They're just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though Zelensky
Well, they're
like has shut
corrupt.
down elections, yeah, he's
Yeah.
corrupt. He's had journalists like arrested,
Yeah.
and you know, like he's not necessarily the good guy, even though yes, he was the victim. He's not necessarily the good guy, right? And he's not an angel. And um the the other one that really speaks to it is believe women, right? Just
Yeah.
by virtue of them, you're a woman, we just believe you now, right?
Yeah. You don't have to prove it.
You're more
Yeah.
right. Just by virtue of you being a woman, you're going to be more right, and we're going to believe you, right? That's a weird narrative. That's a strange idea to me. That like you're
But
just
so
more correct,
problematic. Yeah.
and that I think translates to these cases where we just give the benefit of the doubt to the weak, the victim group, right? The minority group, whatever. We're
Yeah.
just like, you were probably correct, right? Even though, and we overlook a lot of
It's so
the
weird.
evidence.
I'm
And
not,
so
but I'm,
that's what I
Well,
see.
this
I'm
is
not
why I'm
seeing
bringing
it
it up.
though. I'm
Well,
not seeing that at all.
This is why I'm bringing it up. There was also, while all this was going on, you had the Carmelo Anthony thing and the Kilmar Abrego thing. Then you had this white lady in a park in like Minnesota or somewhere, and she turns around and there's a little. Did you hear about this? There's a 5-year-old black kid rummaging through her bag. Did you hear about this story?
No, I didn't hear this.
It was recent.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. It was the same time as all these other ones.
Where
She
is this?
turns around. What was her name? Okay, well, what happened? Maybe you can research it by if I tell you what happened. Her name was
Yeah, tell us.
Shiloh. What's her dumb name? So she
Just tell us.
turns
Minnesota
around.
woman. She called the kid the N-word.
Yes. So she turns around and calls this little 5-year-old that's going through her bag the N-word, right? And
Mhm.
and some black guy nearby films it, and he immediately tries to get her canceled. And what happened? This is so crazy. This is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. She immediately got donations from the right supporting her, even though she's clearly a piece of crap. And then
Mhm.
the people on the left immediately got donations, like the black guy who's like a Nigerian with a criminal record or something.
Mm.
He got donations to try to cancel her. Like, what is happening?
He doesn't
What?
have a criminal record. I don't see anything for that. He's just a kid.
Well, not the 5-year-old, the guy recording it.
Yeah, but
Like
this
some
is what she
black-
said about the kid. She said, I called the kid out for what he was.
Yeah, that's terrible, right?
It's clearly a racist.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like,
Right.
that's insane.
And
But
she
now
got
she's-
$700,000 through a Christian fundraising platform for what she did.
Yeah, that's
Right.
where we are now, because the left is making heroes of these victims that are clearly bad people. Now the right's doing it.
Oh my
Now the
gosh.
right is making a hero out of this lady who, like, he's a 5-year-old kid.
Called a 5-year-old the N-word.
This is weird, and that's why I brought this up. That's why I'm so concerned. Is why do we have this need?
What was the greater sin, him robbing or her calling him the N-word?
It was a diaper bag.
her calling him the N-word? He's a 5-year-old.
That's
I
interesting.
I don't even know that he was stealing anything, right? He was a 5-year-old. Like, he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. He probably was looking in the wrong bag, right? Like,
So, but this is where we are now, that we've drawn our battle lines, and
Right.
if somebody on our side needs help, it doesn't matter if they're in the wrong or not, we're gonna support them. And
Right.
the other side's doing the same thing, and it actually kind of terrifies me. So that's what
No,
that's why I brought all
100%.
this up. Like the George Floyd thing, when it was happening, that was like, I don't think Derek Chauvin actually killed him. Like, there's one video angle that looks like, oh, he's kneeling on his neck, and there's another one, it doesn't look like he's barely touching him, right? And the
Right.
autopsy said that he had drugs in his system. That's probably why he died. But he was made out to be a hero. He has monuments made out to him, even though he was a piece of crap. And now I have to, because I'm wearing a red shirt, I have to support this racist lady. Like,
Right.
what are we
And-
doing?
I think this is all like, this is what, like, Trump, even what he signifies is this is what we've talked about before. Like, Mitt Romney, pretty good guy all around, right? Generally a pretty good guy, and like he gets his butt trashed, and I think the right's like, oh, we are gonna win, and we don't
Yeah.
care if we have to grab him by the pussy to do it. We're like, we're gonna get our guy, our pussy grabber, and he's gonna like, we're gonna win, right?
Yep.
And we've lost. It doesn't matter if we're right. We just got to win, and that's where I honestly think at least the right took a turning point, and I think the left has
Yeah.
done the same thing.
And I'm willing to call that out. When Trump, again, I'm 99% sure he was trolling when he said he would go for a third term. A local news station here in Utah, very conservative place, very Trump based, they put out a poll saying, if Trump runs for a third term, how would you react? And it was like, insurrection, I'd support it, whatever. There's like 5 options. And 95% of the conservatives in Utah said, I'm not standing for that. That's not good. But there was like
good. I
2
thought it
or
was gonna be
3
bad.
No,
Okay, that makes me
but
happy.
there's still 2 or 3% that are like, yeah, I'm
Right.
all for it.
We're in.
And that scares me. Like,
He deserves it.
that should be 0. Why is this growing? Why is this part of the right? Why are we now becoming the left?
Right.
Why are we using the same tactics that the left's been using and we all hate? So yeah, like 95% would be like, no, we're not standing for a third term. He's trolling. That's funny. Ha ha. No. But there's still that small, very crazy base that are like, yep,
It's like,
if Trump
seems like
says
a
it,
good-
we're
he
doing it.
deserves it.
Yep, he deserves it. I'm going to support him for a third term while he's flying around on his Qatari jet.
He's not going to be alive in 4 years. Come on. Either
I
through a
just-
diet
Tom,
or
you have
assassination.
to stop making threats against the president. The Secret Service is going to come after this
I'm not
podcast.
gonna
They're
kill
not
him.
threats. They're predictions.
McDonald's is going to kill him.
That's
I
probably
support
accurate.
McDonald's killing the president. That's awkward to say. I don't even know. That's
Right.
weird, right? Like,
Now I want to
Secret
see
Service
an
needs to
AI.
knock on McDonald's.
Yeah,
door.
AI is
Hey,
totally
what are you
generated
putting in that
meme.
Big Mac?
I want to see an AI generated meme of Ronald McDonald in the White House with a knife
oh,
stabbing him.
jeez. I don't think I can get ChatGPT to do that for the thumbbell for
You
this
can get Grok to
podcast. You're right. I could get Grok to do it.
can.
No, I just want to talk. Like I'm not coming in on one side or other. I just wanted to point that out and see if anybody else was seeing that. Both sides seem to be holding up criminals as heroes because the other side doesn't like them. And
See,
that was
and-
more of a left thing, but now the right's starting to do it, and I'm going.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I think we're just.
I'm not sure I
we're-
see it.
We're in this. What? How would I say it? We're separation from civility, separating ourselves from civility, and even the respect of law. Right? We're slowly pulling away from that on a societal level. I honestly think, like, we're getting closer to, more acceptance of like violence, of like people that we don't like, a side that we don't like, right?
Yeah.
And getting
Well, yeah,
into
that Carmelo Anthony kid, he admitted he stabbed that other kid to death. They're
right
high school
and
kids.
we're like, okay,
And people are like defending him. We're like, well, yeah, that kid got in his face. Got in his face, like they're kids. And people are defending him, and they're totally cool with it. And the kid that died, his dad got swatted like immediately after. He tried to go to the press conference because he wanted to see what the other side was saying, and they kicked him out of the press conference, and then they swatted him. Like,
right,
what is happening? This
right.
is terrifying stuff.
You had me so confused. There's a basketball player named Carmelo Anthony.
I know. Same name. Same name.
The spell different. It's a K for the kid who stabbed
Yeah.
somebody, and C for the C for the NBA player. I'm
Yes.
like, an NBA player stabbed somebody, and everybody's rooting for this? Like, that'd be canceled. You can't do that.
No, they wouldn't. Kobe Bryant raped a woman,
yeah, okay.
and everybody
Never
knows
mind.
about it, and everybody's like,
I
we
know.
love Kobe. Sorry,
Yeah.
not a fan of Kobe.
Ryan,
He's a
what do you
rapist.
think? Do you agree with Josh's take that there's sort of, we're seeing like a breakdown in I don't know, how would I say that?
Well, so if that's what I was trying to look up this Carmelo Anthony thing because I haven't heard about this, right? The Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I think that it doesn't fit what you're trying to argue. And same with Trayvon Martin. I don't think either of them fit.
Well,
because both of them are like innocent people who got screwed.
It does in the fact that both of them were reported as being like, I thought, I haven't researched it, but in passing, I had heard that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13 and a criminal and a wife beater. That's
Right.
what was reported.
And none of those things are true.
Okay,
right? So
that's
that's why I'm
part of the
saying it
problem.
doesn't. That's why it doesn't fit the narrative that you're trying to build. Same with Trayvon Martin, right? Trayvon Martin had the exact same build that I do. He's 5'11", weighs 158 pounds. So he's got my build, right? Black kid wearing a hoodie who literally went out. He was not smoking pot. He
Okay,
bought
get off Trayvon
kills.
Martin.
No, I'm just trying to say, like,
You
he
said it
doesn't
4
fit that.
times.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the narrative. If this Carmelo Anthony was legit a criminal,
But
stabbed somebody, and then the left held him up as like a victim, I think that's a problem. 100%, I'm on board with that. And the example you just gave of this woman calling a black kid the N-word and then getting money from her side and other people on the other side, yeah, like I see that. It seems like we're picking sides and
Yeah.
supporting anybody on our side. I think that's
Right.
really, really problematic. But I would say don't use those other two examples
no,
because those don't work for what you're
I
trying
think
to say.
they do fit the narrative because they're trying to be put into the mold of the narrative. If the left is like, no, you
I
can't
see.
deport this guy because he didn't do anything wrong, and the right is going, no, he's a criminal, he's part of MS-13.
Oh,
He's
Right.
being forced
he's
into the
being turned
narrative.
into
Into
a
the
criminal
model.
Exactly. He's being
by the right on that case because it's not by the
yes.
left. The left
That's
is
what I'm
saying
saying.
he's not a criminal.
I'm
You
not being
can't do
partisan
this.
here. I'm not being
Okay.
partisan.
Sorry,
I'm,
I was not understanding what you were saying.
well, I mean, I wasn't really prepared to talk about this. It's just something that I've noticed recently that we keep putting these, like, the left did do that with Trayvon Martin. They tried to say they tried to create the narrative that this is white on black crime by calling Zimmerman a white Latino, right? So that we keep whether or not he was a criminal or not, or a piece of crap or not, like, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, it was terrible what happened. It was put into a narrative. The media shaped it into a narrative, both sides. And it
Yeah, but
seems
I
to be
don't
getting
know.
out of
Yeah.
control.
And I'm not necessarily going to disagree that it's like getting worse in terms of dividing lines, but we've always done this with
Mm.
outgroups, right?
Mhm.
So you're both old enough to remember September 11th, 2001. How were
What
Muslims
happened?
depicted in the media? Right.
Kidding.
Thanks, Tom.
The tower. They landed some planes into some towers in case anyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
in case we've got young
For our
listeners,
younger
which,
audience.
yes, how they've depicted Muslims in the media for years, right? Is it's almost like the immediate first thought when there's some explosion, right? Or somebody blows something up, it's like, was it a Muslim? Was it a Muslim, right? So even like the Oklahoma City
There's
building bombing, that one, they immediately arrested like 4 Muslim men. They're like, you guys did it. And they're like, oh crap. No, it turns out we actually have security footage. It was a couple of white guys who did this, right? So they immediately were going for Muslims. So the media has, and this is me being critical of the media, has for years depicted certain outgroups as being problematic. Okay. Now we're just divided in the media that we consume to the point where you're being told that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13 and was a criminal when there's no evidence to support that, right?
and you didn't even hear about Carmelo Anthony.
I didn't even hear about it. That's true.
Right.
Right?
Because
So
that
getting
makes
into
your
different
side
media
look
models.
bad, and this Kilmar
Kilmar
thing
Abrego Garcia.
makes the right look bad. Like,
Looks terrible. Yeah.
it's so disgusting. And this has really been the meta focus of the podcast for how many years now? That the media is the problem. That's what's creating the narrative.
But since you brought something else up, and we'll take just 2 minutes to cover this, is the answer that we crack down on the media? Because that's what Trump is doing right now. He banned the Associated Press from the White House because they wouldn't call it the Gulf of America. He's not letting the media do what he wants. Like, if they don't do what he says,
but it is the
kicks
Gulf of
him out.
America.
That seems really problematic to me, right? Like, they are an extremely important part of any democratic country.
But
And
they're
it's
so
dictators who
broken.
don't do this. Yeah, but what else are you going to do?
Well, this is what I think you do. I don't think you're going to fix it. I think you have to subscribe to both sides if you really want the truth. And like Josh just said, the media will omit certain stories from your site if it doesn't look good. You'll get it from the other side. The other side will tattletale on the others.
Well,
right?
okay, that's why
and this is where I have a brother who posts on social media all the time, and it's just like, he's like, it's all left stuff. And I'm like, dude, you are stepping over all sorts of facts in order to get to these things. And like, because I'm like, do you know about this? And I don't care. Like, I'm not going to combat him or anything like that. But I did like talk to him in person and be like,
Yeah.
you're saying this stuff, but like, this is inaccurate and this is inaccurate and this is inaccurate. And like this, you're saying Trump's doing this, but this was being done all over the place with Biden. I'm like, you want a narrative, but you're stepping over all these facts. And I'm like, and I think you're doing it because you're only listening to this one side. And it's like, well, Trump did this, and he posts it,
and it makes you
and he
it
complains.
makes you feel good because it fits your worldview. That's exactly what happened
Right.
when you earlier in our text message when we said we're going to do a podcast today. Tom said pick a topic. I thought of this headline that I had read about all the Biden spending. I knew, oh, it's probably not super accurate, but maybe there's something there, but I hadn't had time to research it. That's what I told you guys. You guys are going to have to vet this because I don't know and I can't trust it. But I want to believe it because it makes Biden look bad and I hate the guy. Right? That fits my worldview.
Right.
That's why that's why I hate this. That's why I hate it, because what can you trust? I don't know how much Biden spent.
There's a Facebook post that said that I've seen 2 times that's talked about Obama was billed the Biden administration like $80 million during the re-election campaign, the most recent election campaign, as a consultant. And this was like, he's getting all this money, right? And I looked it up, not happening. Like, it's not true. And like,
nobody vets this crap. You can literally report anything.
No, but people do vet it. Yeah, you just have to look.
But by the time the headline comes out and it's already imprinted on somebody's head, and then it goes to the back page somewhere, and somebody's like, "That wasn't accurate." They're not hearing that wasn't accurate part. They're just seeing the headline.
The correction.
Yeah.
I don't even think. I think it was like a Facebook post that someone wrote up and sent out, and it just went all over the place. And I don't even know if it was like attached to a news article.
Mission accomplished.
Right.
Jeez.
It's just garbage going out.
I don't get my news from Facebook.
Yeah, you get it from liberal sources where they don't even report the stories. You didn't hear about the Carmelo Anthony thing. You didn't hear about this racist woman, which is
Josh.
Weird. You think that would be in your sphere.
To Tom's point, you have to read both sides, right?
Yeah.
And I try, but I only have a limited amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting my news from 5 different news sources. 5 different news sources.
Your conservative ones, the Tampa Bay Times, and then all of your liberal ones. Yeah, I got it.
Wall Street Journal.
That's
BBC News.
You always say this like we should
Tampa Bay Times.
Wow, I'm so impressed.
I can't read anymore. Like, no, I'm just saying, like,
Tampa
how
Bay
much do you want me to read? I've got a job to do, right? I'm working ridiculous hours and still trying to read the news. So
honestly,
I'm not going to catch it.
You want to know what exactly what I just said? I don't unfriend anyone. And so like the news I hate, they'll shove it right in my face, right? Yeah. And like I said, I have a brother who posts stuff. There's a neighbor from that I don't even know anymore, but she posts crap constantly, and I will not unfriend her. I don't want to see it because I actually hate it, a lot of it, but like I want it in my face, and a lot of it I'll be like, hey, no, right? But I want to see what the other side is saying, because like it helps keep me sane, right?
Is this on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, I do the same
thing.
Both
of those are Facebook.
I've never
use Facebook.
I've never unfriended a liberal on Facebook, but I've been unfriended by almost all of them, and I don't even post anymore. Yeah. But I'll occasionally comment, and they'll immediately unfriend you. But I have like 2 people, same as Tom, about 2 people that are super liberal and are posting every freaking day. And then I can say, oh, that's what's being reported on the left right now.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Give you a sense and the idea. Gives you a temperature gauge of like what's over there and what's important.
So I get a notification every time Josh does anything on Facebook. So I saw that Josh won a competition for AngelVid. VidAngel. Sorry, I don't even know what it is. What is that? Well, I don't even know what AngelVid is.
It's the new CleanFlix. It filters crap out of movies and stuff. So I can actually, I watched Deadpool, and I had all my filters on. It was about 23 minutes long. I had no idea what was going on. I'm not kidding.
That is worthless. How could you enjoy Deadpool? You clean it up.
But I did enjoy Deadpool. But there's some shows that were fantastic on VidAngel.
Oh my gosh, to edit Deadpool? Yeah. It
didn't work.
Like didn't work. There's nothing clean in Deadpool.
It's pretty bad.
Oh
I know we are so off topic. It's ridiculous. I know. But the AI technology, though, will be actually is getting really good for editing films, right?
Really?
And, yeah, and like dubbing over, and so you change the word. They can change the words, and you can't even tell.
I would love that.
There's some cool tech out there. I hope it comes to market soon.
Oh, hopefully, I'll give them a shout out because I want a year's worth of free VidAngel. They had a picture, and they said caption this, and the winner gets a free year.
Yeah,
and I read all of the other entrants. People were trying to be funny. Nobody was being funny. Like, they were terrible. And I'm like, well, I'll take a shot at this. And it was a caption from The Office.
Right.
So yeah. I just took a Dwight quote and changed it a little bit, slapped it on there. Won a free year of VidAngel because nobody else is a funny, apparently. Nice. It was shout out to VidAngel. Love their service.
So that's about the only time I go to Facebook is when I get a notification from a relatively close friend, including the two of you, whenever you post something, a comment, anything. So I know how frequently you guys post because it's very often.
Very rarely.
I'll get an email that it's like, Josh posted a comment. And I'm like, oh, what is Josh doing? So I'll actually go, but I'm almost never I never doom scroll Facebook. I have zero interest
you're
in that crap.
Elitist. That's actually where like the majority of Americans get their news. Like, I'm not even joking.
And that is sad and terrifying.
Yes,
because I'm actually going to news sources to get my news.
But they're just as bad. We just discussed it. They're just as bad. You have to balance them. You have to balance the BBC with Fox News and come to the middle and see what the heck's going on.
All right, guys. That's all. That's all we have, and a little extra.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
Listeners can get their own Lux bidet with 10% off by ordering at luxbidet.com and using our promo code FCBG10, Finding Common Battlegrounds 10.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.